See, I read it the other way. I know in my heart that Islam is the teaching of peace and love. I know that. And when I read and I listen to Prophet Muhammad, all I hear is mercy. So when I hear anything that goes on that comes from separation, rage, anger, hatred, darkness, aggression, struggle, I know it's from the human being. And so for me, when I hear things that make me feel that way, I really try to go deeply inside and say, what's being twisted here? Because this is not the peace and the love, this is something else, and therefore the humanities come in. Yes?
So does this mean that you think that certain hadiths are not correct, or?
You know, there's a lot of discussion about that. You know, certainly among the Shiite, they say a lot of the hadith are not correct. You know, so for me personally, first I just feel them, and when I feel the light of the Prophet, I always feel mercy, and I feel incredible purity in my being. So if I hear hadith and I don't feel mercy and purity, then I question it right off. You know, it's coming through somebody's interpretation or something's gone off with it. And then once I hear it, then I try to follow Sufi's interpretation, which is Sharia, Tarika, Hakika. I say, okay, this is the Sharia aspect of it, but what's the walking that's meant to happen? What was the Prophet trying to teach the Ummah? That's the Tarika. And Hakika, what was Allah trying to teach the people? Hakika means what's Allah's teaching. Tarika means what is the people's teaching. Sharia means what are the contradictions to keep it from hurting other people. So I try to add those three things, and when I look at those three things together, then I finally feel like I understand the hadith.
Can you repeat that one more time? the whole step that you said down to
Okay.
hurting the people.
When you read hadith, any hadith, first thing you look at is the Sharia. Sharia means what is the hadith? Hadith they're teaching you. They're either teaching you to not do something or they're teaching you to do something, as far as actions, right? So you look, what's the action? Okay, don't do this, do that. Do that, don't do this. Look at what is being asked of you from the point of view of the hadith. And that's the Sharia. Okay, but there's the Tarika. Tarika means it's not about action, it's about the heart. It's about your state of the heart. Meaning the Tarika is about the purity of your heart. When you read the hadith, if you look deeply, he's asking you to take on an attribute of God. But you have to look close. He might say, don't cheat others in business. There's a hadith about that. Don't cheat others in business. Okay, so what would that mean? It means if you weigh, because they're doing scales, if you weigh things, weigh honestly. Weigh honestly. Okay, that's the action. But what's the Sharia? The Tarika. The Tarika is, why would you be dishonest? Why would you be greedy? Why would you weigh unbalancedly, right? There's something in you that wants to take from that person and do something not right. So Allah says to you, balance that with purifying yourself. So that's if you read Siddhi's book, when he reads it to you, he's going to tell you that thing. He's going to say to you, where's your Tarika? If you're supposed to weigh accurately and you're not, there's something inside of you that's not right. Clean it. That's Tarika. But if you go to Hakika, what's Hakika? Hakika is Allah's descent. Why would Allah send down an ayat or a teaching unless it has to do with the nature of how God's creation is being put into motion? So if God sends something down, he's saying to you, I want my universe run in this way. I want all human beings to be in this way. I have, like the ayat, I have sent down, the human being is to seek his bounty, and you have seen the boats crossing the water who are being driven by my winds. So what does that mean? At the higher level, it means Allah wants you to seek bounty. He wants you to be appreciative of what he brings, that he's created existence for you, that he's thankful of you, and he wants you to be thankful of him. You see what I mean? That's his hakika. He's showing you why he brought something in for you, and for me, and for everybody else, because that's his love for us.
Thank you. Great explanation.
Okay? So this is Sharitarika Hakika, which we're learning of these things. So we'll continue this, but I just want to go back to Siddhi, so let me just read briefly from his book, so you get out of dealing with me. You can hear the words out of the horse's mouth, or in his case, the camel's mouth.
Horse is appropriate here.
What?
Horse is appropriate here.
A horse is here, yeah. Except, you know that Al-Jamal means camel, right? Yeah, you didn't know that, yeah. That's the city was named after the camel. All right, let me read this to you. Tadbir are the people of Fana. Governing, Tadbir, literally means to look into the consequence of things and plan accordingly. Therefore, it is an act connected more to the future than it is to the present. It involves the use of one's thinking in a toilsome, laborious manner, or to explore and consider the consequences of something, and to plan according to what one imagines possible consequences. This means planning, managing, calculating, directing, disposing, and regulation. In reality, in the truth, it is the prerogative of Allah, while it can appear metaphorically to belong to the human being. The abandonment of management, tadbir, the abandonment of management, or tadbir, is considered fana. Allah's transferring of management, tadbir, over to our own ownership, and the giving of the ability of choice to us is an act of free disposal of the real, meaning he gives you choice when he wants to. This is also a trait of the station of baka, or abiding, and a detachment from an existence which was founded and centered on the slave into an existence founded on by the real. When the believing slave leaves tadbir with Allah, then he disposes of him. When a slave leaves management, or tadbir, and goes to Allah, then he disposes of himself excellently with Allah. For Allah then is the one responsible for management of his kingdom and of the entire creation. The degree that his creature submits to him indicates his knowledge and gnosis of Allah, and of Allah's power, and of what is rightfully Allah's. So the slave who knows his Lord shies away from self-management alongside of God, and instead he submits the reins of control and management to Allah, both outwardly and inwardly. He commits his entire affairs to Allah, and he approaches Allah completely and wholeheartedly, turning himself away from other than him. So whoever abandons and departs from his own ordering, tadbir, for himself, then Allah himself takes responsibility for him with his excellent ordering, mudatabir. Do you not see that when Ibrahim alayhi wasalam did not plan for himself, nor concern himself over his own affair, but instead he cast it to Allah and his planning, Allah's planning, and submitted it to him and relied upon him, and that the result of his surrender was achievement of safety and nobility? And there is no doubt that whoever is set firmly upon, he's talking about when he was thrown into the fire. There is no doubt that when whoever is set firmly upon the way of Ibrahim, alayhi wassalam, will follow Ibrahim, the prophet Ibrahim, peace and blessings be upon him, and imitates him. When Ibrahim was thrown in the air from the catapult, he found sufficiency in the knowledge that Allah had of him, so that he had no need of asking or requesting. In his moment, he was entirely immersed in the Haqiqah. And due to his complete actualization of Haqiqah and his complete abandonment of self-direction, he did not ask about or seek to know the cause or method of his safety. He was without need of asking Allah by finding sufficiency in Allah's knowledge. And when Ibrahim returned to the realm of Sharia, he then made request again and said, "My Lord, forgive me, my parents, and the believers." Therefore, whoever is perfected in certainty becomes satisfied with Allah's planning over his own planning. And he finds sufficiency in the knowledge of Allah so that he doesn't quicken the divine response. Remember I said to be patient, wait with ease, and is content with whatever action Allah takes through understanding and surrender and following. And all this, he comes to be like the Prophet Ibrahim, peace and blessings be upon him, the Hanif, which literally means one utterly devoted to the truth, as the folk of Allah see it. Therefore, attach yourself to the qualities of Allah's Lordship. Realize the qualities of your servitude to Allah, and understand that the dropping of self-governing tadbir and move to governing by Allah, which is the manifest mark of the slavehood of the human being. It is a proof of one's full affirmation and acknowledgement of the Lordship of Allah. Therefore, the Sufi does not actualize the witnessing of Tawheed, divine oneness of Allah, except after achieving experiential gnosis of Him. I think that's a good point to stop. We'll stop with that. Next time we come together, we'll pick this up a little further and continue working with it. But you get the drift of it, I think.
What book was that?
This is how the arrival is realized. We call it Phenomena book.
What page was that?
78. Okay. So Tadbir, to close up and finish up, in this difficult time where we're facing lots of confusion in the world, possibly Isa returning, possibly all sorts of craziness going on, and everywhere we look. If we self-govern, we are probably going to fall down. But if we can learn to really put our trust in Allah, like Ibrahim did, Prophet Ibrahim, peace and blessings be upon him, and we really turn to Allah, and we really surrender, and we listen to what He says patiently, then we have the possibility of navigating these difficult times. That's called Buddha Tabir, and I pray that we all have Buddha Tabir. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.